Hello, hockey fans! Welcome back in for another episode of the Neutral Zone right here on IE Sports Radio. One of the craziest weekends in hockey. Were they playing hockey or were they playing baseball? Some of the scores you wouldn't be able to know just looking at the box. Some ridiculous scores from around the NHL this weekend. We had outdoor games going on in New Jersey. We had teams scoring, multiple teams scoring 9 goals. We had games. We had 5-goal games, 6-goal games, 9-goal games, and then a 10-goal game from one team. 17 goals in one game. Goalies apparently decided to take a holiday weekend. And where else was there celebrating? Well, there was a legend of the game remembered out in Pittsburgh over the weekend. Jarmoir Jagr got to see his number retired in Pittsburgh. We will react to that, plus all the other stuff going around the NHL. This is the Neutral Zone. Buckle it on up, light the lamp, don't get checked into the boards, and as always, protect that 5-hole. Let's go. And hello and good evening once again, everyone. You have found your way back into the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We talk all hockey on this. Well, I don't know, Zach, should we say all hockey on this show? That seems almost off-brand for us, doesn't it?
Mostly hockey?
Mostly hockey. There we go. We talk mostly hockey on this show. But if you are brand new to the sport, don't worry. We try to make it as fun and accessible and relatable as possible while still having a good time. So welcome on in. We are glad that you are here, whether you're listening live here on Spreaker on Tuesday night or you're catching the show later on in the week as a podcast. Thank you for being here. I am Adam Karnick. Zach Puplis is along with us tonight as well. Zach, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Adam?
It's been a day, but we're getting through. All is well.
Woohoo!
So 8 games in the NHL on tap for us tonight. We will, as usual, check in on each of those, but we've got some stuff from over the weekend that we will need to catch up on. There was just a ton of stuff to go through. But before we go any further, we do want to let you guys know that this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, the single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Find them on the web at planetjerky.net or on Instagram at planetjerky. They offer free shipping on all orders of $50 and above. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. We're also brought to you by Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations, and you're looking for that extra special touch. Or maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or friend, and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts is for you. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. Find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps or on Facebook at Seal the Deal Wax Seals. And, of course, we would not be here without the overall platform that is IE Sports Radio. For the last 9.5 years now, IE Sports Radio has brought you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to keep up with the latest in sports and with our shows. Also, check out our daily updated website, iesportsradio.com, for sports news, the IE Sports Radio blog, our Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month, pages dedicated to each podcast, our IE Sports Radio community forum, and stop by the shop to check out the merchandise. Thank you for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports. And you heard how to follow along with the station there on that drop. You can also follow along with this show. We are available on Twitter at IESR Neutral Zone. I am at Adam_Karnick, and Zach is at The Pupless. Without any further ado, I want to say good evening, obviously, to my co-host, Zach, but also Jen B. and Ralph Calise are hanging out with us in the chat room tonight. Good evening to both of you. Hope you guys are having a good evening. We're going to be having some fun here, talking some pucks. Zach, who have we got on tap tonight?
Yes, of course. We've got Senators and Panthers. That's in the third. Panthers are up 2-1. Stars and Rangers. Rangers are up 2-1, also in the third. Penguins and Islanders. Islanders are up 3-2 in the third. Devils and Capitals. Capitals up 3-1, third period. Jets and Wild. Jets are up 2-0 in the second. That one just started. The second period looks like, and also just starting. Oh, that whole game just started. Looks like. Canucks and Avalanche just started 0-0. Still to come tonight, we got Predators and Golden Knights and Blue Jackets and Kings at 10 and 10:30, respectively.
And speaking of that Blue Jackets Kings puck drop, Jen B., the host of our Cleveland show, the show of the land, she's trying to figure out how to stay awake for the Blue Jackets Kings game tonight.
Right.
Yeah, lots of coffee, lots of energy drinks, and don't wrap yourself up in a blanket when you sit on the couch to watch the game.
Right. Only bad part about those West Coast trips.
Oh man, yeah, those are the late nights. Those are definitely the late nights, right? Well, I'm going to watch the first period, and then I'll catch the rest of it on the box score. Though, for my own personal sake, when my youngest son was just absolutely refusing to go to sleep, it was making it easier to watch some of those West Coast games for me. I wasn't really registering anything that was happening in them, but at least it was something on.
Right. Rather than just infomercials and movies and stuff.
Right. Oh, a puck. Yay. I so want sleep, kid. He's better at least. He only wakes up once during the night now. That helps.
That's good. Well, looking at the Wild game, it's like they emptied the tank last night, and they got 0 points so far tonight.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and the Jets actually just scored again. It is 3-0 Winnipeg. The Jets are being nothing if not efficient. 3 goals on just 9 shots through the first 22 minutes of their game tonight. But at the same time, I mean, if you're Minnesota, you gotta feel like you've got them right where you want them. After that game yesterday, that was one of the most bizarre things I think I've ever. I was at work, and all of a sudden, a very good buddy of mine who is from Minnesota. He's right now living outside of St. Louis, but he has adopted the Wild. He had left Minnesota before they came around, but he has since adopted the Wild as his team. He all of a sudden texts me, and this is a hockey score, and it was the 10-7. It was, wait a minute, what happened here? And so then the two of us then started going back and forth. this game was just bizarre, absolutely ludicrous. It was at one point Vancouver was up. Vancouver had a 2-0 lead, a 4-1 lead, a 5-2 lead in this game. It was 5-3 at the end of 2, and all of a sudden, Vancouver blows it. 5 goals in the first 5 minutes of the third period for the Wild, and then a 6th goal just over the 5-minute mark. Just an absurd amount of scoring. Or excuse me, it was 5 goals in 5 minutes and 12 seconds for the Wild.
Oh my gosh.
Just ridiculous what you had going on there.
Goal a minute.
Yeah, a goal a minute, exactly. Just ridiculous scoring. And you wound up with 3 separate hat tricks in the game. What was it? Kaprizov, Eriksson Ek, and was it Eriksson Ek who had the second one for Minnesota? Now I've got so many goals that I'm looking at. I'm losing track of my count. Yes, Eriksson Ek had the second hat trick for Minnesota, and you had a hat trick for Vancouver.
He got 2 full hat tricks? Oh my gosh.
No, Eriksson Ek had a hat trick, and Kaprizov had a hat trick for Minnesota.
Yeah. So the third one was one on the Minnesota side, or on the Vancouver side?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
There's so many goals here. JT Miller had a hat trick by the end of the second period for Vancouver.
Okay, there we go. Well, plus you said that Eriksson Ek and Kaprizov each had 3 assists too.
Yeah, 6. You had 12 points between the two of them. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This little clip says Minnesota Wild scored 5 goals in under 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was. It was officially. It took them 5 minutes and 12 seconds to score, but the first goal was scored 29 seconds into the period. So that's where they're coming up with that. From when they scored the first goal to when they scored the 5th goal, it was less than 5 minutes had elapsed.
Gotcha.
Of game time.
Well,
so splitting hairs.
Like you said tonight, the Wild feel like the Jets have them right where they want them, because at one point in the second period, multiple points, they had multi-goal deficits. They had a 3-goal deficit in the second period before storming back with those 6 unanswered goals. Yeah. So right now they're down 3-0. So you're absolutely right. They got them right where they want them.
with 21 minutes to go in the game, Vancouver was up 5-2 yesterday. That's just bizarre. A bizarre game. It's not as Jen puts it in the chat room. The goalies just quit after the second period. That's it. We're done. Good night, everybody. We heard it was a holiday. We're taking the rest of the day off.
Yeah. Quote from the Wild coach: "You could feel the way we were engaged in the game, that there was no letdown. Whether it was 4-1 or 5-2, the mindset was still the same." Minnesota's 6 scores in the span of 5 minutes and 45 seconds was the fastest such flurry in the NHL in 25 years, since Washington had 6 goals in 4 minutes and 47 seconds in a 10-1 win against Tampa Bay back in '99.
Yeah, it's a lot of. You almost wonder if you get to a point, if you're the Minnesota fans, do you almost stop standing up when you see a goal? Oh, wait, I just sat down. I have to do this again?
I'm running out of hats to throw on the ice.
I think I'm shocked that they had hats left for the third and final hat trick. Kaprizov. Now, Kaprizov, the last one was into an empty net with 2 seconds left, but there were somehow hats that hadn't made it onto the ice yet. where did these? I wonder if some of it wasn't, guys from the third deck that threw hats that only made it to like the first deck. Oh, okay, now they can finish making their way to the ice now.
Right. Well, what's the protocol on that? You only do that when your team gets a hat trick. So, like, what happens with that third hat trick the opposing team got?
Oh yeah, you're not throwing hats on the ice because you gave up a hat trick. Yeah, no way.
Yeah, no way.
No, you're not selling. Yay, we gave up a hat trick! Woohoo! There we go, boys.
Autographed so-and-so hat. I'm not giving that up.
Exactly. I am totally. Did we mention that we go off the rails on this show? Totally off subject. I have my Blackhawks hat that I wear. I am under penalty of death from my wife. I am under no circumstances am I allowed to throw that on the ice in the case of a hat trick. I have to go get a separate hat and throw that onto the ice instead. My wife will not let me give up my Blackhawks hat.
What about burning the hat?
I know where you're going with that. Only if it's been worn so often that it can wear itself.
Right. only if it needs a soldier's, funeral, basically.
Right. Exactly. No, my Blackhawks ball cap that I have, I am under pain of death. I cannot abandon that hat to a hat trick celebration. So I have to. I guess when the time. Fortunately, it's never come up. I haven't encountered that. Fortunately. But I guess what I'd have to do is just go get one real quick so that I can throw it onto the ice.
Right. Go find the cheapest one at the store.
Yep. Which there's no such thing. That's a minimum $50 purchase there.
When you're in the stadium, yeah, good call.
Yeah. There's no such thing as a cheap hat in the stadium, but. But yeah, I had wondered that too. Is like when they got to the second one, who had hats left? I was like, well, I was hanging on to this one after that first. I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. But, the second one, okay, now I'll give you my hat.
Right.
But a bizarre game. And if you're Vancouver after a game like that, how do you feel to be on the losing side of that? If you're a young and overachieving Vancouver Canucks team, how on earth do you respond to that when you give that up? You were up 5-2. You scored 7 goals in the game, but you lost. And not only did you lose, it wasn't close. You lost by 3.
You got to be like a quarterback and have a short memory.
I guess you gotta have something there.
Because that definitely derails your momentum for sure.
Oh, absolutely, unquestionable. That can destroy your momentum, and we'll see how they. This could be a situation for Vancouver. All right, it doesn't get any easier opponent-wise tonight with them taking on Colorado, but this could be a case where it's, get back on the horse. That was a weird one yesterday. That was an all-time weird game. Get back out on the ice right away and just play another day. So this could be a case where having another game to go play right away could be beneficial for them.
Yeah, true. Just get that bad taste out of your mouth as soon as possible,
Yeah. Of course, for your efforts, you get the Colorado Avalanche, and you get Alexander Georgiev in net. Yeah, good luck scoring 7 times on him. His save percentage isn't all that great, but he's not even giving up 3 a game. So
yeah, definitely gotta win on defense this time.
Yeah, you do not want to be playing that game with Colorado. You don't want to be getting into that shootout with them. So
no way, yeah. with Nathan McKinnon and Landeskog and all them.
Exactly.
Kilmacar.
There's too much firepower over there. You do not want to mess with that fire. Don't play with fire over there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a wild weekend for scores all over the place. It wasn't just yesterday where we had that. The Saturday, 13 games going on Saturday. Saturday was a busy day. But look at some of these scores from Saturday. Your Red Wings against Calgary, 5-0. The Predators over the Blues, 5-2. In the first half of the Stadium Series, 6-3. Devils over the Flyers. You had two different teams score 9 on Saturday. You had the Maple Leafs destroy the Ducks 9-2. And you had the Florida Panthers beat Tampa 9-2.
Yeah. Well, both Stadium Series ones got 6 points. 6-3 Devils over Flyers and 6-5 Rangers over Islanders the next day.
That Rangers-Islanders game was something else, too. That was...
Went into overtime even.
Went into overtime, and that was, I believe, for the Stadium Series, I believe this was correct. Yeah. That was the biggest comeback in Stadium Series history, where the Rangers, the Islanders were up 4-1 in that game, and the Rangers came back to take it 6-5 in overtime.
That's wild. Ooh.
That was also a crazy contest. Trocheck single-handedly willed the Rangers back into that one. Back-to-back goals in the second period, and then an assist on Chris Kreider's power play in the third period that got him to within 1. Trocheck had himself an afternoon to remember. So just a very, very crazy week. And Ralph Calise in the chat room, he's getting excited because the Islanders and the Penguins are adding another barn burner to the list, 4-3 with 7.5 minutes to go in the game. In that one, the Islanders had themselves a 2-goal lead, but then Pittsburgh immediately turned around and pulled to within 1. So a good one going on there as well. And in fact, Pittsburgh just tied it. So we are 4-4 as there are under 7 minutes to play in that one. And that's a good segue because I want to talk a little bit about those Pittsburgh Penguins on the other side of this break. More specifically, they got to have a jersey retirement ceremony over the weekend for one of not just a Pittsburgh Penguin legend, but one of the legends of the game in general. We will take a quick break, and then on the flip side of this, we will remember Jarmoir Jagr, the NHL and still current hockey legend. This is the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We will be right back after this.
All right. Welcome to AZ Sports Daily. I'm your host, Kiernan Daly, bringing the heat to Arizona sports. There's no discrimination here. We're going to talk about every sports team, professional and college. The show is all about you, the listener. I'm here to entertain you. Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here? It's going to be fun, high energy. You may not agree with what I say. That's okay. Let me hear you. Let's talk about it. Join me every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on AZ Sports Daily. That's AZ Sports, Daily, and at IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Well, what is up, Carolina Nation? This is John Felipe of the Carolina Cast, of course, the podcast of, by, and for the Carolinas, right here on IE Sports, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I'm reminding you to tune in Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern for the latest in Carolina sports, whether it's the Panthers that keep on pounding, the fly natures of the Hornets, the storming Hurricanes, the battle of the Blues with Duke and UNC, the fight of the Clemson Tigers, or the amazing atmosphere of any Carolina college. I'm talking App State, I'm talking ECU. I've got you covered. Once again, tune in for the Carolina Cast with me, John Felipe, Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, everyone? It's Drewski, the host of Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. On this station, we cover everything in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. From where we cover the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Stars, Dallas Mavericks, Dallas Wings, Texas Rangers, TCU, SMU, we cover it all right here every Wednesdays from 9 to 10 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you stay live with me on the Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, sports fans? You're listening to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your favorite West Coast Wisconsinite, Bernie Bango, and if you're a cheesehead, come listen to my show, Big Cheese Sports, where we road trip around America's Dairyland, previewing, reviewing, predicting, debating, and digging into all that is Wisconsin sports at the college and pro levels. Join me on IE Sports Radio, Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Standard. Bernie out.
What's up, Pittsburgh? This is Ralph Calise, the host of the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you that passionate diehard Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, or just a Pittsburgh sports fan? Then please join me on the Injury Report every Tuesday on IE Sports Radio, the direct feed for all that is sports, and I will update you on all that's black and gold. Have you telling your Pittsburgh fans and friends what's up with Pittsburgh sports. Tune in Tuesday with me, Ralph Calise, the User Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
Welcome back into the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We're back here with Adam and Zach.
As I knock my microphone over as I'm trying to unmute. So, Zach, before we move on to the from the into the Jagr stuff, I know you had a couple more statistics from the just epic and wild and crazy last couple of days that have been scoring in the NHL.
Oh, I was just going to say it was basically our coming out party, now that this is the first weekend without the NFL, like, hockey's got to do something to steal the spotlight, right?
Hey, 17 goals in one game. Yeah, that'll get some people's attention for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Multiple teams scoring 9 goals on Saturday. Yeah, that'll definitely get some people's attention and get them going a little bit.
Yeah, get them back in the mood for hockey,
Indeed, absolutely.
Well, plus, 2 of them were in the stadium, so I mean that's the perfect little tie-in right there for the people that don't really like to watch hockey. Oh, well, there's 2 games at Meadowlands this weekend. It's not football, but it's close.
Exactly. Yeah, it's hey, there's something going on in a football stadium. Clearly, that's that's what we should be doing anyway. There we go. So
well, they were smart to plan it the weekend after the Super Bowl. Then
exactly. They do occasionally. Bettman gets something right. I'm sure it happens more by accident than anything else, but
right, yeah. Do we boo him as much in our draft as they do Goodell at the NFL draft?
Oh,
or is it more?
It's to the point, and it's been this way for years. Whenever Bettman comes out to speak, they don't actually announce him. He just comes out and they boo him, and then he talks. They don't even bother to say his name anymore.
Because they knew it'd be drowned out.
Oh, they just the hope is that if they don't say it out loud, maybe somebody will forget to boo.
Oh, right. Nice try, guys.
Exactly. So, well, we talked right before the break there of the Islanders and the Penguins game that's going on tonight. The Penguins, I wanted to bring up a little bit because they also had a huge weekend Sunday. Sunday was a huge night in Pittsburgh. It was officially Jarmoir Jagr Day because the 52-year-old prodigal son returned to have his number 68 retired by the team. Jagr, of course, played his first 11 of 24 NHL seasons in Pittsburgh before moving on and bouncing around to a couple of other teams, including the rival Philadelphia Flyers, a move for which Jagr at one point was getting routinely and soundly booed by the Pittsburgh faithful. But that all got forgiven. That all got forgotten on Sunday as they had a 45-minute pregame ceremony to enjoy Jarmoir Jagr and celebrate his time with the Pittsburgh Penguins. They couldn't call it a retirement party because Jagr is still playing hockey at 52 years old. He owns his own team in the Czech Republic, and he plays for that team. So you can't call it a retirement party for Jarmoir Jagr, but they just simply retired his sweater number. So no one ever again in Pittsburgh Penguin history will wear number 68. It now goes up into the rafters. He joins teammate Mario Lemieux, Michael Briere, and several other Penguins with retired sweater numbers. It was a fun celebration that they had in Pittsburgh on Sunday. He got to come out and skate around the ice, do one final lap around the ice with the fans. He talked he did about a 15-minute speech One of the best parts of the speech was he looked around at kind of the people in charge and was, "Am I allowed to? I don't want to make this thing run too long." Well, you know what? It is my day, so I guess I'm allowed.
Right.
So I'll go ahead and do it. He thanked all the members of the Penguins staff that coached him and drafted him. He had a bunch of his teammates on ice up there with him. He thanked each one of them basically individually with their contributions and efforts of what they did to help him. It was very funny, very witty, very well done. He brought up right away in his speech that he got to take a part in skate around with the current team, and he, in his estimation, he still has it. He's still got it. He could play with him. It was an excellent ceremony, very well done, and really just a huge celebration of one of the legends in the game of hockey. He is second all time in scoring behind only Wayne Gretzky.
Wow. Yeah, this paragraph here says, like you said, NHL's second all-time league scorer. Well, no matter where he's gone during a professional odyssey that has spanned 30-plus years in 3 continents, Jagr has long understood where his hockey home is. The place where he arrived in 1990 as a teenager from Eastern Europe, shrouded in mystery, armed with a mullet that became his trademark, and the kind of prodigious talent that eventually made him one of the game's all-time greats.
Yeah, that mullet. Yesterday before the game, the Penguins came out to take warm-ups, and you expected that, okay, they were going to be doing something to honor Jarmoir Jagr, and of course it would be appropriate. They come out in his sweater with his jersey number, his name on the back. The entire team also all came out with mullets on as they took their pregame skate around the ice. I thought that was very well done.
Yeah. Jagr was quoted in his speech. You can ask anybody in the world, check Europe, and you say Jarmoir Jagr, they're going to say Pittsburgh Penguins, Jagr said in a 40-minute on-ice ceremony that ended with his jersey being raised to the rafters at PPG Paints Arena alongside mentor and Hall of Famer, like you said, Mario Lemieux, number 66, and Michael Brière's number 21.
Yep. It's so funny. He didn't even play half his career with Pittsburgh. He still had 13 years after in the NHL after he left Pittsburgh. But that's the first team that comes to mind, regardless of who it is you're asking. Yeah, he's a Pittsburgh Penguin through and through.
Oh yeah. Oh, here you go. He had a chance to return, like you said, in the summer of 2011, only to sign with rival Philadelphia. A decision that had nothing to do with not loving the Penguins, but everything to do with his beliefs that he could still play at a high level against the best, an opportunity unlikely to happen in Pittsburgh, which was loaded at the time, up the middle with stars Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, so on.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's the tug of the heartstrings of I want to come home, but at the same time, I don't want to give up all my ice time. You can kind of understand that.
Oh yeah.
Though to have seen Lemieux and Crosby as teammates together, that would have been. I mean, they faced each other on the ice, so that's kind of it. But still, to have seen them as teammates would have been. Because I mean, was Crosby even alive when Lemieux was drafted? I feel like he wasn't.
I doubt it. Yeah.
Now I gotta. I'm thinking on the fly here. I gotta believe.
You look up Lemieux. I got Crosby right here.
All
right. Crosby's like your age. He was born in 87.
Okay, so all right, so he was 3 when Jagr was drafted.
Yeah, true. So, you said Lemieux and Crosby. I don't know if they ever overlapped, but
No.
Lemieux and Jagr ever play together, and then Jagr and Crosby?
Oh, absolutely they did. Absolutely.
So
Lemieux was
he's the one linking them all.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, there is one person connecting Mario Lemieux, who was born in 1965
Oh my God.
and started playing hockey. What? When did Lemieux's NHL career begin? That was what, 1970. Let me pull it up here. Oh no, he made his NHL debut in '84. But yeah, Lemieux, who was a rookie in 1984, and Sidney Crosby, who was a rookie in what, 2008, shared a teammate.
Yeah, no, I like this comparison better. Lemieux, who was a rookie in 1984, and Crosby, who was born in 1987.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the 1990. That's the year my sister was born. That's Jarmoir Jagr has literally been playing professional hockey my sister's entire life.
Right?
You know, she's turning 34 this year.
It's insanity.
That's, my goodness. Talk about longevity.
Yeah.
I gotta look. I should have done this before the show. I gotta look up what numbers. How productive is Jagr being this year, playing with his team, Ritri Kladno. How is he doing this year? It can't be. I can't imagine that he's having insane numbers, but
right.
I want to. Okay, this is only showing his NHL numbers. I'm gonna look this up. You get us. You take us to the next thing. I'm gonna look this up here. I gotta see this.
Okay, so surrounded by his mother and former Penguins executives and players, Lemieux included, Jagr never broke down as he feared he might. Instead, the franchise's fourth all-time leading scorer let his 10-minute speech serve as an exclamation point on a weekend in which he reconnected with the city to which he's forever linked. Quote, "The 11 years I was here was amazing," Jagr said. "Probably the best years of my life, so thank you for that." End quote. Typically not one for sentiment, Jagr made it a point to take it all in. He swapped stories with the former teammates during an event on Friday, practiced with the current Penguins on Saturday, pointing out, "I was pretty good, let me tell you," before spending Saturday night alongside Lemieux, Jagr's idol turned running mate, while leading the club to a pair of Stanley Cup titles back in 91 and 92. Yet even on a day officially deemed Jarmoir Jagr Day in Pittsburgh, there were still hints of the iconoclast whose passion for the game he's helped redefine outweighs everything else, nostalgia included. Let's see here.
All right, I've got some stats when you're ready.
Let's see. So Crosby's take on Jagr, quote, "When you look at the history of hockey, he's somebody that you're always going to think about." Crosby said, a three-time Stanley Cup winner himself. The fact that he played here and had the impact that he did, what he was able to accomplish over his career, it's incredible. And I think we all feel pretty fortunate to be a part of this.
All right, so Jagr currently plays for, it's a team that he owns. They are the Kladno Knights. They're a professional ice hockey team in the Czech Republic. The league that they play in is the Czech Extraliga. And their season, that's what I'm just looking real quick to kind of see how long their season is. And let's see if I don't have that. But Jagr this season has played so far this season. He has played in 15 games. To put that in perspective, though, a little bit, their season's got to be roughly as long as an NHL season, because Jagr played in as many as 43 games just 2 seasons ago.
Wow.
So he's played in 15 games so far this season. He has yet to score a goal. He has 4 assists on the season. And then he's got to go up against 10 penalty minutes. I would imagine a lot of those involve tripping. Where I'm sure somebody is getting around him, and so he sticks out that stick to try and slow him down. But last season he played in 26 games, had 5 goals, 9 assists in those 26 games. He also logged 16 penalty minutes for the season.
Oh wow!
So yeah, he's still being somewhat effective out there at 52 years old. That is ageless wonder indeed. My goodness, what a
beacon of physical health and fitness.
I'm 30. I'm turning 37 this year. I don't think I could play a game of ice hockey, let alone 15. And he's got 15 years on me.
Yeah, that's wild. Whew.
Oh, we do have a final, and is a frustrating one for Ralph Calise. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they did, a side note, they did lose on Jarmoir Jagr Day. They lost 2-1 to the Kings. And unfortunately, it's another loss tonight, as they did make it to overtime, but ultimately lost 5-4 against the Islanders. The winning goal there went to actually Pelech, who scored his first goal of the season with the game winner tonight. So,
wow.
We do have a couple of games that have gone final already.
Oh, here
tonight,
I gotcha. Okay, Panthers beat the Senators 3-2 in overtime. Rangers beat the Stars 3-1. Capitals beat the Devils 6-2. And still going on tonight, Jets are up on the Wild 3-1 at the end of 2. And Canucks are up on the Avalanche 1-0 at the end of 1. They're channeling what we said earlier. They're going to try to harness that and forget about yesterday, and today is a new day.
And indeed, as the song goes, it's a brand new day and the sun is high.
Right. It's still yet to come tonight, starting in 10 minutes. Well, hockey time anyways.
Yeah.
Golden Knights and Predators, and then at 10:30, Blue Jackets and Kings.
So, and Ralph brings this up in the chat here, that the playoffs are starting to slip away from the Penguins a little bit. As we sit here now with that loss, the Penguins fall to 24-21-8. They are second from the bottom in the Metro. The Metro is very much a stacked division. The trade deadline is not that far away, Zach. Do you think, is Pittsburgh setting themselves up in a position to sell, you think? Or are they going to try and be aggressive and fight their way back in?
Man, yeah, that's a good question. Looking at it, okay, if the playoffs started today, you got it Atlantic, you would have Florida, Boston, Toronto. Metropolitan, you'd have Rangers, Carolina, Philadelphia. Wild card would be Tampa Bay and Detroit. Next teams out would be the Jersey Devils with 60 points, Islanders with 60 points, Washington with 58, Pittsburgh with 56. So the wild cards, so Tampa Bay has 65, Detroit has 64. They're not that far out. Oh,
yeah,
man.
they're 8 points They're 8 points out as we sit right now. They're 8 points out of a wild card. They're only 9 points out of third in their own division.
Oh, yeah, because Phillies only has 65, yeah.
And Philly, the bit that I've been reading and seeing to this point is don't expect the Flyers to add at the trade deadline. They are at the most that Philly will do is stand pat, but they will not buy at the trade deadline, even though right now they're in third. Don't look for the Flyers to try to make a push for this season. They are committed to the long game here. If they make the playoffs, great. Yeah. If they don't, they're not going to be. The front office isn't going to be upset.
Well, they're not going to throw everybody's finances out of whack just to do one season.
And good evening, Patty Bax jumping in real quick to say hello. She is still excited after some of the Sabres' big wins last week that Buffalo had. Buffalo also beat the Wild over the weekend. The Wild have had themselves a topsy-turvy couple of days, losing in overtime to the Sabres on Sunday, then turning around and doing what they doing on Saturday, then doing what they did to Vancouver yesterday, and then Minnesota tonight. There, don't look now, Winnipeg. Don't look now. It's 3-1 at the end of 2. Minnesota got a goal right at the end of the period again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, right where they want them. So some interesting stuff going on there with Minnesota. And Minnesota, I mean, they need all these points because they're one of those, they're right on the fringe too of the trade deadline as we're getting ready to kind of dive into that here in the next couple of shows. They're tied with Nashville, 58 points in 55 games, only 2 points back of St. Louis, and they're going to be needing to play the wild card game there in the West because the top of the Central, there's a comfortable distance there between Winnipeg at 3 and St. Louis at 4, and then, of course, everybody behind them at that point. The top 3 in the Central, you feel pretty comfortable about at this point.
Yeah, Dallas with 76, Colorado 72, Winnipeg 71. Then it drops to St. Louis. It's with 60.
Yeah, so if you're Minnesota, you're needing that second wild card spot. So you're only 2 points back of St. Louis for that wild card spot. So Minnesota's in an interesting spot.
Well, and then the Pacific is Vancouver and nobody else. They're 10 points ahead of Vegas and 13 points ahead of Edmonton.
Yeah, it's again the Vancouver Canucks. Just where in the world did all this come from? Yeah, they have a massive lead in the Pacific.
That's crazy.
So yeah, gonna be lots of things to pay attention to and lots of things to keep us interested here in the next couple of weeks for sure as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline. We did have, I believe we had another game go final in there. Had Panthers Senators already gone final? Well, they've gone final now. The Panthers defeated the Ottawa Senators 3-2 in overtime. So another overtime win for Florida. Lundell, his 8th of the season, a minute and a half into the extra period. Ottawa did score twice in the second period to force overtime, but Florida made sure to come away with the second, to not give away any points tonight.
That's good. Here, before we get out of here tonight, Red Wings did sign Michael Rasmussen to a 4-year, $12.8 million extension earlier today. Rasmussen, 24, has appeared in 55 games this season, posting 23 points. That's 11 goals and 12 assists, and a plus 11 rating. He's the 9th overall pick of the 2017 NHL draft by Detroit with 109 career points. That's 47 goals, 62 assists in 293 games with the Red Wings. Was due to become a restricted free agent at the end of the season, following the expiration of a 3-year, $4.38 million extension he signed back in 2021. Red Wings host the Avalanche on Thursday. Detroit entered Tuesday holding the second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Hope they can hold on to it.
Oh, there you go. Locking down some of that young talent there in Detroit. Always a good thing to do.
Yep.
All right. That is going to do it for our show this evening. Big shout out and thank you once again to our sponsors for the show. We are brought to you, of course, by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. Find them at planetjerky.net or on Instagram at Planet Jerky. And Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. Find them on Instagram at SealTheDeal_wax stamps and Facebook Seal the Deal Wax Seals. Thank you to Larry B., the overlord and czar of all things IE Sports Radio, for all the hard work you do behind the scenes, sir. Thank you to everybody in the chat room tonight. Patty B., Jen B., Ralph Police. Thank you for hanging out with us in the chat room tonight. Hope we were able to keep you entertained and had some fun on the show tonight. Finally, thank you for listening, whether it was live tonight on Spreaker or whether you're part of the Spotify crowd, iHeartRadio, Apple, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, CastBox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, YouTube Podcasts, YouTube itself, wherever you find us. Thank you for being here and make us part of your week. Really do appreciate that. Next week, of course, we'll be one step closer to the NHL trade deadline, so we'll be diving into some of the possible moves that teams might be making. We've got another legend that's getting a jersey retired over the weekend, too, so we might have some fun. It's a name that is near and dear to both myself and to Zach. So we'll have some fun with that. And, of course, there will be all kinds of games and activities going on around the NHL between now and next Tuesday. We will keep you updated on all the latest. For Zach, I am Adam. Together, we are the Neutral Zone. For IE Sports Radio, have a wonderful week. Light the lamp. Stay out of the penalty box. Watch out for the forecheck. And as always, be sure to protect your 5-hole. We will see you next time.